I'm here in my clinic, in that quiet, safe space that I create for myself and also for my clients. And I've just done a hypnotherapy session that's about releasing pain and reclaiming peace. And I thought maybe this would be a good thing to put here on the podcast, because there are so many people who are holding on to stuff that they've outgrown, that doesn't do anything for them anymore, doesn't help them. It's almost like it's on a subconscious loop. And I thought, yes, I'm going to pop it on here on the podcast. So let's look at it a little bit deeper. January can feel unforgiving. Well, I feel it can sometimes, when everything's stopped, the lights have come down from the trees, celebrations are over. And for many people, what remains is probably a sense of weight. In clinic, I see it every day. January happens to be my busiest month because so many people have issues over the celebrations, where they're with family members that they haven't been for a long time, or they have financial commitments that they've made that they're now going to have that heavy weight for a while. So I feel it's a very exciting time. Yes, it's a happy time, but it can be giving everybody that sense of weight afterwards. The financial strain after Christmas, the fear around business and your career or your purpose not unfolding as you're expecting, and that quiet voice of not-enoughness, which so many of us have. Also the loneliness that becomes even louder in winter because we're at home and we're not sort of out and about, and also the grief of loved ones that are lost because so many people pass in the colder months. There's more people who pass over in wintertime than, say, in spring or summer. There's also the shock and the uncertainty of diagnosis or illness or literally change. So pain arrives in many, many different forms, and it arrives differently for each of us because, of course, we're all very different people. So today's meditation that I've written is sort of like a reflection, and it's sort of also an invitation to meet whatever that pain is, whatever that problem is, whatever that challenge is, and just see perhaps this as an experience to witness. Maybe to ask gentle questions. And you know that I love questions because I feel when we ask questions of ourselves, then we start to connect to our inner self, and then we start to have that heart coherence, and we start to hear things perhaps that we've not heard before. So those gentle questions, they soften the edges, and perhaps they discover, even here, something within you that's still breathing, still listening, and still holding on. There is a kind of pain I feel that is not loud. It's sort of inside and it's quiet, and it might sit in your chest, it might sit in your stomach, or it might be in the spaces between your thoughts. And then you start to have those ruminatory thoughts, don't you? And perhaps that is the hardest kind, really, of pain, because it's those that's always there and it keeps coming back and back and back. You may be listening to this with a sense that life is not keeping up with your efforts. I've had quite a few people in clinic that are really wanting to get a career off the ground, and they've been plodding and plodding and plodding, and nothing's happening. And they're just thinking, what am I doing wrong? But it's not what you're doing wrong. Perhaps it's just the way that you're seeing things. Perhaps you're resisting to certain things. Or maybe it's that you did everything that you were supposed to do. You worked hard, you tried again, you took risks, and yet things feel stuck or fragile or uncertain. So let me ask you something. What if pain is not a sign that you've failed? What if it's simply evidence that you care, and you care sufficiently that you perhaps think that not enoughness that you're incapable of doing what you're truly, truly wanting to do that might actually be your purpose. So I think pain shows up when something really matters. If it's grief, grief tells us that love exists. If it's fear, it tells us that the future feels important. And if loneliness tells us that connection still lives inside of us, even disappointment points to a hope that once had energy. So here is another quieter question. And like I say, I love questions. What if this moment is not asking you to push harder, but to listen more closely? When pain arises, the instinct is often to move away from it, to distract, to judge yourselves for feeling it, or to compare ourselves to others who seem to be doing better, or coping better, or being better. But I think comparing our lives to other people's lives sometimes isn't the way forward, because everybody's lives are different. Everybody's relationship is different. Everybody's marriage is different. Everybody's way of committing to their career is different. So what happens if instead you stay, you notice where that pain lives in your body, if you allow it to exist without a deadline, if you ask gently what it needs from you right now, maybe that might be the right question to ask. Because quite often we think about what do we need to do to fix it? What does it want to know? And all of these different things. But sometimes we need to just allow that space, that present moment, of which I speak about an awful lot in these podcasts. But it's so important to be present and to be engaging with your emotions, because pain often carries information. It might be about exhaustion, about boundaries that are being crossed, about dreams that need tending rather than abandoning. Because if you have a dream, it's there for a reason. Why did you dream it in the first place? And then there's hope. And hope quite often is not terribly loud. It's there, it's in the background, but it can be motivational. You know, it can be that a quiet version of being motivated. So you're not jumping up and down and you're not speeding ahead and doing things. But hope needs to be there, but it needs to be listened to. And hope is also, I feel, a decision to stay curious. And I love being curious about things. Hope is also the willingness to actually, like I was saying, breathe through this present moment. And hope as the understanding that you don't have to see the whole path in one great big huge scene. You can take small steps, and that small step can lead you to that whole path that's going to take you on your purpose to what you're passionate about. So I'm going to leave you with just a few questions. No answers are required, because when we go into the meditation, you may have that quiet space where you can just let those answers arise. So, what part of you is asking to be acknowledged rather than solved? What would kindness look like today if you offered it inward first? And what if this chapter, however heavy it feels at the moment, is not the end of your story, but a turning point, or popping you onto a different road? But maybe it's that road or turning point that you can't yet recognize. So remember, pain is not a weakness. It's something that allows you to focus, to say, or your body saying, there's something here I need to look at. So if you're still here and you're still listening, that in itself matters. Now the next part is a meditation. So obviously, you can't be driving, you can't be operating some machinery or whatever it is. So just take a moment to place yourself somewhere where you can sit down and be safe and just listen to this meditation. And this is a meditation for you and allowing you just to connect to yourself. So I hope you enjoy it. So if you take a seat somewhere where you're not going to be unsettled or anybody's going to walk in or the phone's going to ring or whatever, just make it a safe space and then just settle down. As you settle yourself now, allow your body to find a position of comfort. You might close your eyes or soften your gaze and take a slow, easy breath in and out. And with every breath, you begin to loosen your hold on the outside world, breathing in calm and breathing out everything you no longer need to carry. Notice how your shoulders begin to release. Your jaw softens. Your hands rest easily. And with every breath, your body is remembering how to relax. And as your body relaxes, your mind can begin to quiet too, drifting gently into that peaceful space between waking and dreaming, where healing begins. Imagine now that you're standing at the top of a gentle path. It winds down through a beautiful garden, a place that feels safe, peaceful, and private. And as you take each slow step down the path, you feel more at ease, more supported by the earth beneath you. With each number, I count from 10 down to 1, you can go even deeper into calm. 10. Letting go. 9. Feeling safe. 8. Drifting deeper and deeper. 7. 6. 5. Halfway there now, surrounded by softness. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Completely calm, completely supported. Now in this place of stillness, you might notice a warm light beginning to glow deep inside, perhaps near your heart or your abdomen, or wherever feels right for you right now. This light represents healing, acceptance, and hope. It begins as a small, steady flame, and with each breath, it grows brighter. This light knows how to comfort every part of you, body and mind, emotions and spirit. It moves gently through any area that has held pain, physical or emotional, bringing warmth where there was tension and softness where there was tightness and peace where there was longing. You've been carrying so much. The sadness of wanting what seems out of reach. The ache of watching others move forward while you feel held back. The frustration of a body that hasn't yet given you what you desire. But as you rest here, that light reminds you you're not broken. You are whole, even as you heal. There is more to your story than this moment of waiting, more to your life than comparison or loss. Your worth is not defined by a diagnosis or a timeline or anyone else's path or feeling not enough. You can begin to release the weight of needing to control what cannot yet be known. You can allow your life to unfold in its own rhythm while you nurture your body, your heart, and your spirit. Each breath brings a little more peace, and you can feel that now, can't you? Each breath whispers, I'm healing. I am becoming whole. And from this place of calm, imagine standing in front of a mirror of light, and you see yourself not through the lens of pain, but through compassion. You can see your strength, the quiet courage it takes to keep going. You see your body doing its best to protect and guide you. And you see the love in your heart that remains even through the grief. Let that image of yourself settle deep into your awareness. You are a person of resilience, a person who feels deeply, a person who believes that life can surprise you with beauty and possibilities. You may not know when or how healing will come, but you can trust that it's already unfolding in ways unseen. Now imagine a day in the future. A day where you wake up feeling lighter and brighter. The pain has softened, and the heaviness in your heart has eased. And you begin to notice simple joys again, a bird's song, the warmth of the sunlight, laughter with someone who cares. And in that future moment, you feel peaceful. Not because everything is perfect, because nothing can be truly perfect, but because you have learnt how to meet life with gentleness. You carry that feeling back with you now. That sense of peace and calm in your body. That sense of compassion in your heart and hope quietly glowing within you. Now hold on to this feeling just for a few moments. Perhaps you can feel the biggest smile within you, and it's growing bigger and bigger and bigger, filling every part of your being. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. At 5, you'll return to full awareness, refreshed, calm, and with that feeling of being supported. 1. Feeling the surface beneath you. 2. Taking a deeper breath in. 3. Gently moving your fingers and toes. 4. Becoming aware of the room around you. And 5. Open your eyes, feeling grounded and peaceful and at ease. Thank you for being here and for taking the time to listen. If you enjoy the podcast and would like to support the show, you can do so via the Buy Me a Coffee link, which you'll find in the show notes. There's absolutely no expectation, but it's there for anyone who feels called to contribute. I'd also love to let you know about a special in-person event I'm hosting at Harewood on the 12th of April 2026. If you'd like to join me for a day of reflection, connection, and shared experience, you'll find more details in the show notes as well. And if you'd like to explore my meditations further or book a personal reading with me, you can visit my website where everything is listed clearly. Whatever brought you here today, I hope you take something gentle back into your day with you. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to being with you again next time.